Is the CCRN required for CRNA school? You've probably Googled this exact question. And you've probably gotten different answers from different forums, Facebook groups, and program websites. Some say yes, some say it's just preferred, some say it doesn't matter. Here's the actual answer in 2026, about 30% of programs require it. The other 70% don't require it, but virtually all of them care about it. The distinction between required and strongly preferred matters a lot when you're building an application strategy. And knowing when to take it and how to prepare for it while working full-time ICU shifts can save you months of frustration. Let's break all of it down. The CCRN, Critical Care Registered Nurse Certification, is a credential issued by the American Association of Critical Care Nurses, AACN, that validates expertise in acute and critical care nursing. It tests your mastery of cardiovascular and pulmonary pathophysiology, hemodynamic monitoring, critical care pharmacology, neurological and multi-system assessment, patient management in high-acuity settings. Why do CRNA programs care? Because anesthesia practice is applied critical care at its most intense. When you administer anesthesia, you are managing a patient's entire physiology, airway, hemodynamics, acid-base balance, drug interactions, all at once. A CCRN tells a program, this applicant has already demonstrated they understand the science behind what they're doing in the ICU, not just the habit of doing it. It signals intellectual readiness for the rigorous pharmacology and physiology coursework in a doctoral anesthesia program. Let's start with the hard requirements. About 30% of CRNA programs list CCRN certification as a mandatory prerequisite. If you don't have it at the time of application, your application won't be reviewed. Period. Notable programs that have historically required CCRN. MUSC, Medical University of South Carolina. Several military-affiliated and VA programs. A number of programs in the Southeast and Midwest. The programs in this category are not bluffing. They filter on this requirement early in the review process. If CCRN is required, you cannot compensate with a stellar GPA or great letters, you simply don't qualify. How to check? Go to each program's admissions requirements page directly. Don't rely on word of mouth from forums. Program requirements change, and you need current information from the source. CRNATracker.com maintains the CCRN requirement status for all 155+ programs and updates it regularly. That's a good place to verify. Now for the more nuanced category, the approximately 50% of programs where CCRN is not required but is a meaningful advantage. Here's what strongly preferred actually means in practice. Imagine two applicants with identical GPAs, identical ICU experience, similar letters of recommendation. Applicant A has a CCRN. Applicant B does not. In most programs, applicant A gets the interview invitation. Applicant B might not. This is especially true for applicants whose applications are otherwise borderline. If your GPA is a 3.3 and your ICU experience is 18 months, a CCRN signals commitment and validates your clinical knowledge in a way that experience alone can't. Some programs also award explicit points for CCRN in their scoring rubrics. Others use it as a holistic differentiator during committee review. The bottom line for this category, if you have any uncertainty about your competitiveness, getting CCRN moves the needle more than almost anything else you can do. The remaining 20% of programs genuinely treat CCRN as optional. They may mention it on their website as one of many preferred qualities, but admissions committees at these schools don't heavily weight its presence or absence. These programs tend to focus more on total ICU experience hours and acuity, GPA trajectory and recent academic performance, quality of letters of recommendation, personal statement strength and interview performance. If you're applying primarily to programs in this category and you're otherwise competitive, not having a CCRN is less likely to cost you an interview. But here's my honest advice, even for these programs, having CCRN is better than not having it. The certification process will make you a better candidate and a better SRNA, and the time investment is manageable with the right study plan. Timing matters. Here's the optimal window. The CCRN sweet spot is 12 to 18 months into your ICU experience. That's when the clinical material is fresh, you've seen enough variety to contextualize the content, and you still have time to leverage the certification for your application. Eligibility requirements: you need 1,750 hours of direct bedside critical care nursing within the past 2 years to sit for the CCRN. You can accumulate this over a single year at full-time hours. Don't wait too long. Some nurses keep saying, "I'll take it when I feel ready," and end up 3 or 4 years into their ICU career without the certification. The longer you wait, the harder it is to find study time, and the older your clinical knowledge feels relative to the exam content. Don't take it too early either. Taking CCRN at 6 months of ICU experience when you barely understand vasopressors will result in a failed attempt and wasted prep time. If you're targeting a 2027 application cycle and you're currently around 12 months into ICU experience, right now is close to the ideal window. The most common obstacle: finding study time when you're working 12-hour ICU shifts. Here's what actually works. Use a structured review course. The CCRN is a broad exam covering all of critical care. Trying to study from random YouTube videos or hospital policies won't cut it. A structured review course. Udemy has highly rated CCRN prep courses starting at under $20 when on sale, gives you a systematic pathway. Study in short sessions. You don't need 4-hour blocks. 30 to 45 minutes of focused review on your days off, plus 15 minutes of flashcard work before and after shifts, accumulates effectively over 3 to 4 months. Use past CCRN or critical care nurse practice question banks. The CCRN is application-based. You need to practice reasoning through scenarios, not just memorizing facts. Practice questions are more valuable than rereading the same review book. Schedule your exam date before you start studying. Having a deadline makes everything more concrete and prevents the indefinite "I'll take it soon" cycle. A question that comes up frequently: what about other certifications, CMC, CSC, TNCC? Are these worth pursuing for CRNA school? Here's the hierarchy. CCRN is the most universally valued certification for CRNA school applications. It's recognized by all programs and directly validates your critical care competency. CMC, Cardiac Medicine Certification, and CSC, Cardiac Surgery Certification, are excellent additions, especially if you're applying to programs with a strong cardiac focus or if you want to emphasize cardiovascular ICU expertise. They don't replace CCRN, they add to it. TNCC, Trauma Nursing Core Course, is a good credential, especially if you work in a trauma ICU. But it's not as impactful as CCRN for most CRNA applications. The basic rule: CCRN first, then consider specialty certifications if they reinforce your clinical narrative. For ACLS and BLS, keep both current. Most programs check these at application and matriculation. These are minimum requirements, not differentiators. If you want to see exactly which CRNA programs require CCRN and which ones listed as preferred, CRNATracker.com has that data for all 155+ programs in one place. Save yourself hours of digging through individual websites. If this cleared up the CCRN question for you, smash that like button, subscribe for more CRNA content, and check the description for links to everything mentioned. Drop a comment: do you have your CCRN yet, or are you working toward it? Tell me where you are. Word count: 1,560 words. Estimated runtime: 10-11 minutes. Voice: TBD, NUS Christopher Neural recommended.